Welcome. It's the eve of the holiday of Shavuot or Shavuos. It is the holiday that the 50th day after going out of Egypt, the Jewish people were at Mount Sinai, and God gave the Torah to the Jewish people. He revealed himself, commandments, spoke to a nation, 2.5 million people, that I'm the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt. There should be no other gods before me. And as we all know and love, the other 8 commandments: not God's name in vain, keep the Sabbath, honor your parents, not to murder, not to commit adultery, illicit relations, not to steal, to rob. Uh, God's name in vain. I don't know if I mentioned that. Excuse me. And not to covet, not to desire that which belongs to your neighbor, not their possessions, not their wives, their wife, or anything that belongs to them. The 10 Commandments. So tomorrow will be the 3,337th year since the giving of the Torah, Mount Sinai. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe made a plea that every Jew, man, women, and child, even a little child just born, should hear the 10 Commandments. Go to synagogue and hear the 10 Commandments. So I urge everyone that's here tomorrow, make an extra effort to go to your local Chabad if you have. If not, then to a synagogue near you, a shul, and hear the 10 Commandments. They're going to be read again. Then, just as the first time we were there with awe and trepidation, it was just awesome. So it should be tomorrow, right? That we sense the awesomeness of hearing the 10 Commandments being read once again. Initially, they weren't read, God said. Now they'll be read, but picture it, experience it, sense it, that it's God giving us his commandments once again. Amazing thing. Welcome to Tanya today. We begin with the second part of Tanya, the second book. The second book is called Shar Yichud Be'emunah. It's the gate of God's divine unity and our faith. Some things we know about God, some things that we believe in God. So here it'll be, what is our faith? What do we believe about God as creator? That's the notion here. What do we believe of him as the creator? It'll be done in Chabad style, meaning with an intellectual process in understanding. That will have, a deep understanding. But before we begin it, there's an introduction. And we start with the introduction. It's called Chinuch Katan, a small education. So it begins with the words Kutei Amarim, a compilation of teachings. The Alter Rebbe, again in his humility, just calls it a compilation. Chelik Sheni, second part, Hanikra B'Shem Chinikotin, whose introduction is entitled Education of the Child. The child in us. That which is little and small in us. Right? That's what it's a reference to. Excuse me a second. So that's the title page. So good. Then explains. Oh, sorry. Miyusad. It's founded upon these teachings that we're going to have here in part 2. Mipi Svarim, books, sacred books. What are the sacred books? Particularly the Maharal. He lived in Prague in the, I think it was 17th century, if I recall. He's the one who fashioned the Golem, for those who are familiar. And the Shalah, which is the name of his book, Shnei Luchas Abris, the two Tablets of Covenant is the name of his book, Rabbi Horowitz. And also it's based upon teachers of great sanctity. And the teachers refer to the Baal Shem Tov, founder of the Hasidic movement, and his successor, and the Rebbe, the teacher of the Alter Rebbe, the Mitzvah Magid. And it's used in Parshat Rishon, Shel Krishman. It's based on the first paragraph of the recitation of the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You should love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, right? And so on. That's that paragraph. Okay. So now that's the intro, and now this a title page, and now intro. Okay. Intro, he quotes from Proverbs, from King Solomon, that says, Chanech lenar al pidarka, gam ki yaskin lo yasim mimenu, is in the Hebrew. Educate the child according to their way, that even when they grow old, they will not depart from it. So just parenthetically, this is, the Alter Rebbe doesn't quote this, but many use this as a very important principle in education. In other words, you have to teach them according to their way. So when they're young, if they do well, treat them to something, whatever it might be. Now, the Rambam speaks about, in his day, 1,000 years ago almost, give them nuts, raisins, as a prize for working extra hard, for example, right? Give them something as their way. So then they will, they will engage in the educational process as in their youth, that when they grow up, they won't depart from what they've been taught in their youth. That is a simple meaning. The Alter Rebbe, though, um, there's many levels of everything that we have to learn. So he says, according to the child's way, means it's the child's way, and it's not a perfect way then, right? That's not the perfect way. So if it's not perfect, what's the merit that when the child grows older, that not to depart from it? In other words, you don't want the child to can maintain their childish educational outlook when they grow older. When they grow older, they need to have a mature outlook. So that's the question the Alter Rebbe asks. So he's understanding it, and taking kind of literally. Grows up, he shouldn't depart from it. So the it, um, the way I first explained it was Judaism in general, right? Not to depart from Torah and mitzvahs, but from it, the Alter Rebbe is taking more, literal and specific. From it, meaning the way they were educated. In other words, the love that they had was a love, for uh, for the prize that they got. So therefore, they worked hard in learning, for example, Tanya by heart. I have a grandson, 10 years old, who knows 4 chapters of Tanya by heart. And the school rewards the kids for it, which is beautiful because that's the path of a child, that they know that they work hard for something. This is extracurricular. This is not part of the day-to-day curriculum. They work extra hard. They're going to get a reward. And, that's incentive. So we want that to be gone when they grow older. When they grow older, don't do it for the incentive. Do it for the love of God, right? So, so that's why the Alter Rebbe is saying that they won't depart from it. Well, they should depart from that intention, right? The intent. So says the Alter Rebbe, oh, we have to understand a little more deeply over here what's going on, and what this means. It's a much more profound idea. So the intent, the ultimate intent in the service of God is the awe and love of God, right? The two wings that we learned previously in Tanya. Two wings. The right is the love, and the left is the awe of God. Awe slash fear slash reverence, right, of God that allows our mitzvahs to be elevated on high. Um, and the awe is the root and fundament that constrains us from refraining to do evil, and the love is what motivates us to do the positive commandments that God wants us to do, right? The positive things, right? So it says about love in the Torah that God says, "I command you to love God." So we need to understand, what is the expression "to do" got to do with love, when love is not a doing of something, it is a feeling of something. So what are you going to do for love, for God, when it's about a feeling, right? How do we understand that? Says the Alter Rebbe, there are two types of love. There's a love that not all of us will merit. As a matter of fact, we won't merit it because it's a love. Um, it's a love that the righteous merit, that comes from above, because they have subdued their negative inclination, their animal soul, and transformed it, that a fiery, passionate love of God that they have, that they delight in God. So that's not something that we will achieve. Okay? The righteous do. But then there is a love that comes to an individual, second level, that comes from thinking about, meditating upon. to arouse a love. Right? And that's the doing that the verse is saying. Do for love, meaning think about, meditate upon God. What are you going to meditate upon God? Well, how much I desire life, and He is the source of my life. So, as much as you desire life, right? How much do you love life? Well, God forbid something happened to us and we are struggling. You take that glass, that glass of water in the desert to revive you. Revival, right? You feel, right? Every breath that we take for granted, but when you are exhausted and you need that glass of water to give you, to revive you, oh boy, is that something appreciated? Is that something you love? Because your soul is being restored within you. Well, that's really God is that source of your soul, of your life. So as much you love life, you love God. And when you think about that, that will produce a love. Also, another kind of love that which we learned in chapters 46 through 49, a reciprocal love. That God takes me out of my Egypt, right? God comes down to the lowest level, the darkness of my life, the metaphor, if you recall, of a wretched individual living on a dunghill, and the king with his entourage come, and the king himself removes him from the dunghill and brings him into the palace and into the inner chamber. He brings him in, right? And there gives us a capability that we can rise beyond the human condition, not just the dunghill, but the human condition. God gives us by bringing us close to Him into the inner palace. So as water face is reflected in water, so does the heart of man is reflected. When God shows us such personally, not just collectively, but personally to me, that He's there to take me out of my predicament, out of my aloneness, and He gives me the opportunity, gives and takes me out. I reflect back. When I think about that, ooh, that's going to produce a love for God. When we contemplate, meditate upon this, right? And that's what it means to be a hafta. That's what it means, and you shall love. That God is commanding us, right? He's not commanding the feeling, He's commanding the doing to produce that love. In other words, think about God. Think about your relationship. Think about what God has done and is doing for us. Here we just gave two, right? He's the two ideas that we learned previously in Tanya, that when we contemplate upon this and it's upon our heart and we meditate upon it, that will bring us to come to love God, right? This is the second type that we are all capable of. We're all capable of thinking. We're all capable of meditating, pondering, and from that ponder, that it will produce a feeling in our heart. This then is the idea. This is the kind of, so the alternative says that this is uh, the uh, the love that we should educate ourselves with, right? The child's love meaning this is called the first level of love that we can produce is because we think about that. Now, the child here means the child in me, not the 10-year-old child. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about adults who can think and meditate upon God, and it will produce for them a feeling because you think, and ultimately, that it should bring us to a love that God gives us from above. But yet, whenever, even the righteous, as they grow in their divine service, it says that there isn't, or the righteous, second, says that for the righteous may fall 7 times and yet rise again. They're falling but not failing, the righteous. But in the falling, they fall back to the love of the youth. Because the righteous are able to attain, after the love of their youth, the adult love, which is a gift from above, that God gives us a capability who can delight in God. But not everybody's going to merit that. Even the righteous, even though they're righteous, they're still growing. They're still moving from level to level. But, 2 steps up, but there's 1 step back. Not in failing, but sometimes you need to, take a step back so you can leap forward. So spiritually, likewise. So the righteous may not have in that moment the gifted love from above, so they fall back on their youthful love, which the youthful love is a meditated love, that they are able to think about their relationship with God, and it brings them to a feeling of love towards God. And this is the idea over here. So, but the first thing that we need to do is to be able to have what to think about God. And that's what the next 12 chapters will be in Shayuch Ve'emunah, will be an understanding of Koyach HaPoel B'Nifel, the power creator within creation. Then we'll be able to have some a methodology, an understanding, a construct of understanding God as a creator. And as a result, being able to meditate it, contemplate it, think about it, that in a way that it will produce some kind of feeling in our hearts of God, and God is found within creation. That is where we're going. We will not have a class for the next 2 days because it's Shavuos. All Jewish men, women, and children should be in synagogue to hear the 10 Commandments tomorrow. Right. We will be starting chapter 1. Actually, when we get back on Wednesday, so Monday, Tuesday, no class. When we come back on Wednesday, so we'll have a review of what we missed. It'll be chapter 1 of Shayuch Ve'emunah. The book looks the same. And we will then do chapter 1 and 2. Okay, any questions? Amazing. All right, Rambam coming up. Rabbi Ronnie Pine coming to you for Chabad Zich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, great day, and be in synagogue to hear the 10 Commandments. And you should receive the Torah. simcha v'pnimius,